Equal opportunity and affirmative action are reflected in the loan policies and plans of the country's lending institutions. These plans are designed to develop conditions in which all people within a given market area will be afforded the same opportunity to apply for, and if qualified, receive commercial real estate and home improvement loans.
Okay, our bank, and as all national banks, have certain laws and regulations they have to comply with, such as the Community Reinvestment Act, the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act, which is Federal Regulation C, the Fair Housing Act, which was a part of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, Title 8, I believe, and then the Home Loan Data System, of which most of these national banks have to comply with. Some other banks may have other type of regulations that they're called, but the Fair Housing Act prohibits financial institutions from discriminating against individuals that want to purchase a dwelling for race, color, national origin, etc. Also, they're required to show a logo in all their advertising or state in advertising on radio or TV that they are a fair housing lender. The Community Reinvestment Act, all financial institutions must comply with it. And basically it's to require that banks invest money in their community for rehabilitation purposes, both commercial and from a housing or residential standpoint. We want to ensure that we comply with that, and our board of directors has adopted a policy, and they have appointed a committee called the Community Reinvestment Act Committee that has set policies that have been approved by the board, and this committee sort of polices it and ensures that it is carried out. We looked at a way that we could better help the community rather than through just a regular lending program. We felt there was probably a need in the lower income neighborhoods, areas of our neighborhood, that we could help. And with the assistance of Mary Frances Ware and Robert Hassan, who worked with the Tuscaloosa Housing, and Evelyn Young with the Tuscaloosa Planning and Development Office, they assisted us in giving us information that would not parallel or overlap into the HUD block grant program. There were certain areas in Tuscaloosa, certain census tracts that were receiving money from the HUD block grant program, but there were also areas that were in just as much need that weren't receiving the benefit of these funds. So with their help and assistance, we determined some areas that needed support, and we selected those as a pilot program. And we offered lower interest rates than what we do on normal property rehabilitation loans, longer terms, and a more liberal evaluation policy than what we would have under normal circumstances.
The housing industry has a major impact on the nation's economy. Millions of dollars each year are spent on real estate and housing. Just 4,000 new homes at an average cost of $50,000 per home will create an influx of $200 million in new housing construction. This, in turn, will directly generate 7,036 jobs for 1 year in construction, manufacturing, and land development.
But the affirmative marketing agreement, as far as we're concerned here in Tuscaloosa, is a very positive part of our business and our thinking. Our spirit is to do the most that we can do to afford and to help the problem areas in our minority groups. We realize that our minority groups aren't afforded in some instances, possibly the opportunities that maybe they should have. And we feel this need, and we certainly intend to try to fill that void as best we can.
Considering today's economic conditions, what employment opportunities are available in the home building industry?
As you know, our industry creates a lot of jobs and a lot of need for skilled professionals in particular trades. We have a large number of job openings and various degrees of jobs market in masonry and concrete and plumbing and electrical and roofing and in drywall and painting and cabinetry and carpentry and all of these things. Our big hang-up, as far as we're concerned, as far as I'm concerned, as a local contractor, is that I have needs for skilled people in these skilled positions and these needs are not being met. Now, it does not matter to me, and I'm sure the other people in our association feel the same way, what ethnic group that these people come from. We're just looking for good, skilled people to fill the jobs that are available. And these are high-paying jobs in our industry, by the way. And we would like to see better trades programs set up to train the people that I'm sure are seeking out and needing ways to be trained to fill these skilled positions. We find this more and more in our young people now than we did 20, 25 years ago. We have gotten to the point that our skilled people are just almost non-existent. They're all of the older group, and we're looking for young blood to get interested in to fill this void in the jobs market.
A few home builders across the country have received awards from HUD for their participation in hiring women and minorities into their companies. Home builders and land developers like Bob Morrow.
Your question was, why did I promote women and minorities and whatever? I think everybody should be given an equal chance. And incidentally, not just women and minorities. I believe in everyone who can do the job. When I was a kid and right out of school, I went to work for on this big construction job, and I saw right quick that it didn't matter who you were or what status you held in the community with these people. That this was a major lock and dam was construction, and what mattered was, could you do your job, and could you do it well? And those were the people that had the respect as far as work was concerned. I mean, you could be a preacher, plumber, a candlestick maker, but that didn't cut any ice. It was how you did it, what kind of professional you were on the job is what mattered. And that impressed me, and I've tried to carry that forward in my business.
Programs to encourage young people's interest in the real estate industry require time and dedication on the part of the established realtor. One example is the real estate internship program sponsored by the University of Alabama.
All right, the internship program we participated in for the past 4 or 5 years. It deals with students in a particular major who come to work with us to give them firsthand experience of the type of profession that they would be getting in. I did an internship myself when I was in college, which didn't turn out quite as well as I would have hoped it would for the students now. I was with a real estate company that went bankrupt right in the middle, and at the time I felt as though it maybe was a waste. I didn't get out of it what I wanted to. But now that I look back on it, I probably learned more from that man going bankrupt, where I could see how easy it could be to go bankrupt in the real estate business, than if I had learned a little more in the class. The program has been very beneficial. When we get very, very busy, they can help us, as well as, and at least from the real estate end, if once they've been here for a semester, when the economy is in a normal state, they should be able to go out and be able to build their own house after. They will know what to expect from the standpoint of a small real estate firm, from showing houses to closing a loan.
Many young people decide early on a career in real estate, and they need facts to help them decide. Realtors like Harry Cole understand this and are willing to give their time.
I'm here today to talk to you on a career in real estate. As most of you know, in real estate we're engaged in one of the 3 basic needs of man, and that's shelter. Real property goes much farther than just shelter. Farm, timberland, shopping centers, malls, theaters, amusement centers, and very many more. All of the world is real estate. There's not any business that you can get into and get so involved financially or have the financial growth that it is in real estate. But I do believe there's more millionaires in real estate business than any other phases of business in the United States. I'd just like to say one thing to you, that if any of you do seek to carry out or want to get into real estate, if I can be of any assistance to you and help you any way, I'll be glad to do it. Just call on me at any time. Thank you.
What does the Board of Realtors have to do with each individual firm?
The Board of Realtors has an ongoing program in training as well as carrying out the multiple listing, which is a weekly publication. They keep you posted on various changes in laws and various changes as far as rulings from the National Board of Realtors.
What's the difference between a salesperson and a broker?
The principal difference between a salesperson and a broker is the broker's responsibility for the salesperson's action. Anything that the salesperson does that's misleading, misrepresentation, fraud, misplacement of earnest money, or anything else are the broker's responsibility. Generally speaking, the broker is the one that owns the firm. Although salespeople can buy into a firm, they cannot run a firm unless they have a broker that is working for them.
In today's atmosphere of understanding and cooperation, we've come to expect more from ourselves than a mere toleration of the law. It is our responsibility to see that all people have the opportunity to provide appropriate housing for their families. As more and more changes take place in our society, we will continue to grow and redefine our standards of fairness.
Another question?
Mr. Cole, do you think that real estate is a good profession for a black person to go into?
That's a good question. I think it's an excellent profession. I can give you several reasons. One, the number of people, or number of blacks that are presently in it are nothing like the number of white in it. The population here in Tuscaloosa is about equal, so your competition is not near as strong as it is between white. Also, I think the market for black is much stronger than white. And I think it's an excellent for a black at this present time.
Mr. Cole, if I was going into real estate, how much can I expect to make in a year's time?
How much would you want to make? How much you would want to make is the answer, because it's going to depend upon you solely as to what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. It's almost like a wood stove. If you don't put any wood in it, you don't get the heat out of it. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. The potential is unlimited if you work at it and prepare yourself properly.
Mr. Cole, what is the real estate test like? I mean, as far as is it hard or what?
Well, whether it's hard or whether it's easy is going to depend on how much you prepare yourself for it. The test itself is going to cover a lot of definitions and terms and